Does anyone remember this kid show? It was called Candle Cove, and I must have been 6 or 7. I never found a reference to it anywhere, so I think it was on a local station around 1971 or 1972. I lived in Ironton at the time. Don't remember which station, but I do remember it was on at like a weird time, like 4 p.m. It seems really familiar to me. I grew up outside of Ashland and was around 9 years old in 72. Candle Cove was about pirates? I remember a pirate marionette at the mouth of a cave talking to a little girl. Yes, okay, I'm not crazy. I remember Pirate Percy. I was always kind of scared of him. He looked like he was built from parts of other dolls, real low budget. His head was an old porcelain baby doll, looked like an antique that didn't belong on the body. I don't remember what station this was. I don't think it was WTSF though. Sorry to resurrect this old thread, but I know exactly what show you mean, Sky Shield. I think Candle Cove ran for only a couple months in 71, not 72. I was 12 and I watched it a few times with my brother. It was like channel 58, whatever station that was. My mom would let me switch to it after the news. Let me see what I remember. It took place in Candle Cove. It was about a little girl who imagined herself to be friends with pirates. The pirate ship was called the Laughing Stock. And Pirate Percy wasn't a very good pirate because he got scared too easily, and there was a calipo music constantly playing. I don't remember the girl's name. Janice, Jade, or something. I think it was Janice. Thank you, Jaren. Memories flooded back when you mentioned Laughing Stock in Channel 58. I remember the bow of the ship. It was a wooden smiling face with a lower jaw submerged in, especially what I remember jarring. It's it was when they switched from the wooden to plastic models to the foam puppet version of the head that talked. I remember too. You remember this part, Sky Shell? You have to go inside. Ugh, Mike, I got a chill reading that. Yes, I remember that ship always told Percy when there was a spooky place he had to go into, like a cave or a dark room where there was treasure, and it was the camera would push on the laughingstock's face with each pause. You have to go inside, with his two eyes askew in that flopping foam jaw, and the fishing line that was open and closed. Ugh, it looked so cheap and awful. You guys remember the villain? He had a face that was a handlebar mustache and really above tall, narrow teeth. I honestly thought the villain was Pirate Percy. I was about 5 when I saw this show. It was nightmare fuel. That wasn't the villain, the puppet with a mustache. That was the villain's sidekick, Horace Horrible. He had a monocle too, but it was on top of a mustache, so I used to think he meant to have one eye. But yeah, the villain was another marionette, the Skin Taker? I can't believe what they let us watch back then. Jesus H. Christ, the Skin Taker. What kind of kid show were we watching? I seriously could not look at the screen when the Skin Taker showed up. He just descended out of nowhere on his strings, just a dirty skeleton wearing a brown top hat and cape. And his glass eyes were too big for his skull. Christ almighty. Wasn't his top hat and cloak all sewn up crazily? Like, what was that supposed to be? Children's skin? Yeah, I think so. Remember his mouth? It didn't open or close. His jaw just slid back and forth. I remember the little girl asked, "Why does your mouth move like that?" And the skin taker didn't look at the girl but the camera and said, "To grind your skin." I'm so relieved other people remember this terrible show. I used to have this awful memory, a bad dream where I had the opening jingle ended and the show faded from black, and all the characters were just there, but the camera was just cutting to each of their faces, and they're just screaming, and the puppets were and marionettes were flailing spontaneously, just all screaming. The girl was just moaning and crying like she had been through hours of this. Woke up many times from that nightmare. I used to wet the bed when I had it. I don't think it was a dream. I remember that. I remember that was an episode. No. That's not possible. There was no plot or anything. I mean, literally just standing in place, crying and screaming for the whole show. Maybe I'm manufacturing the memory because you said that, but I swear to God, I remember seeing what you described. They just screamed. Oh God, yes, the little girl Janice. I remember seeing her shake, and the skin taker screaming through his teeth and his jaw careening so widely. I thought it would come off of his wire hinges. I turned it off, and it was the last time I watched it. I ran to tell my brother, and we didn't have the courage to turn it back on. I visited my mom today at the nursing home. I asked her about when I was little in the early 70s when I was like 8 or 9. If she remembered a kids show called Candle Cove, she said she was surprised I could remember that, and I asked why, and she said because I used to think it was so strange that you're gonna go watch Candle Cove. You used to say, "Wanna go watch Candle Cove now, Mom?" And then you turn the TV to stack and just watch dead air for 30 minutes. You had a big imagination with your little pirate show.